We are live.
What's up?
Hey, Tim.
How's everybody
How are
doing?
you?
Good, good.
I'm coming to you remote from my cryptocurrency study library.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Tim spends a
So,
lot of time in that room.
yeah, I'm learning the power of the crypto force. How you guys doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Awesome, awesome. So, are you ready for an exciting crypto journey of discovery together today?
As long as you are.
Yeah,
Always.
buddy.
This is my first time on your show, so
That's right. We're
Yeah,
about to welcome
welcome,
Kathy to the.
welcome, Crypto Kathy.
That's right. That's right.
I guess that's one of the better nicknames I've had over the years. I don't know that it really fits though.
Crypto Kathy, Crypto Kyle, Tim.
And
We're gonna have to
Colonel
come and
Crypto.
Colonel Crypto. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Colonel Crypto. Does it not show up at the bottom of the screen? I thought it was supposed to show up at the bottom of the screen.
It hasn't. I don't think we've made it that. If it wasn't remote, I think it would be showing it. But as long as we got the Warrior Healing Center in our info, we're good to go.
All right. Sounds good. I think we're in. So,
Bradley Libby says, Tim, cover your head. Just a little glossy. He doesn't, Bradley, he doesn't have his hat. So
You're giving off some shine, Tim.
You
You
got
might have
some-
to adjust the lighting.
I've got a whale I can put on my head.
yes,
This is the closest I'll ever get to being a Bitcoin whale. The dog toy.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was going to say that thing sounds pretty worn out, dude. You're going to have to get something else.
It's all good. So, you guys have probably seen the crypto markets are making a little bit of a recovery in the last couple of days.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's given us a little respite from the Elon Musk downturn that has happened over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully things will go up. But we did hear one interesting thing. Kathy and I did listening to BitBoy, and he noticed in looking at the futures markets that the average price of entry into the Bitcoin futures market, meaning the people that are like betting on future prices, is
Right.
50,000.
Wow.
So like nobody's doing any price action down here in the 30s. They're not doing it in the 40s. It's all happening up in the 50s. And so, it got me to thinking a lot about why is the price stuck down here in the 30s. And I really do think that this is all a result of the mining operations that are getting shut down in places like Iran and China, because these mine operators are getting their mines shut down. And it's not like, you own these massive mining operations. And if you haven't seen that, we can roll a few videos so people can see what these mining operations look like. We're talking about hundreds of employees, thousands of square feet of, space in warehouses with, hundreds of thousands of watts of electricity. And if you just turned all that off, it's not like all your costs go away. You still have to pay the bills for the overhead on the facilities. You still have to pay the employees and such. So I think a lot of these miners are selling their Bitcoin to pay for
The overhead
the
cost.
operations.
The overhead, yeah.
So why are they
Yeah.
shutting down? What's going on with that?
Government regulation. Iran and China are both cracking down
Because they're
on
trying
the
to
mining
manipulate.
sectors.
They're trying to manipulate
It's-
crypto.
I really think there's some governmental collusion going on, trying to regulate currencies. And they're really, really worried about the global adoption of Bitcoin, vice, the fiat currencies. We know for sure that China is this close to adopting their own digital yuan, a digital currency that's a state sanctioned currency. And don't call it a cryptocurrency, because it's not a cryptocurrency. It's just a digital currency that the government administers. But when you look at what they're designing into this currency, imagine this. So the digital yuan can be programmed to have an expiration date.
Wow.
So
sounds like a little control mechanism, doesn't it?
Right.
Control freak much?
Yeah. If your paycheck had an expiration date, so use it or lose it, this fuse burning that you either spend your money or it's gone by a certain date. Can you imagine living like that?
Dude, what is going on? Like, seriously, it's like crypto is the world of decentralization, and the little guy that's like, it's like a battle right now against overreach of governmental control. And this is like one area of it, but it's just amazing to watch what's happening in our world right now.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I think it's all these people that have had all this control for years are starting to realize that they don't have any control anymore, or they're starting to lose control.
The fear of losing it.
So they're trying to put their foot down or try to manipulate it any way they can to where they have somewhat of a say. And with them cracking down on, everything else from the crypto, in China and everywhere else.
El Salvador. We just saw that.
Yeah, they did it legally, which is awesome.
Legit there, which means now that there's pressure elsewhere, right?
Yeah, that's true too. Yep, there's true. But they say the main currency in El Salvador is still the dollar.
Right.
The useless. Let me get in camera here. Dollar. Dollar.
That's air quotes. If you guys aren't watching.
I don't even know what the hell a dollar. I don't even know. It's just a piece of paper with a dead president on it. To me, really. I mean, I'm one of the most American dudes you'll ever meet in your life, but I mean,
yeah, but it's really interesting to me. Like, I feel like the United States of America was founded with the intent that the power belongs to the people.
Yeah, and it's backed by gold.
Over the years, clearly, we have been giving more and more power to the government, right? I mean,
now we're live now.
All right.
Sorry for the technical difficulties if we had them.
More and more power to the government, right? I mean, that's you.
Now we're live.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry for the technical difficulties if we had them.
Yeah, we're back there.
To the government, right? Okay, turn that off on your end. So so there was a slight glitch there. Tim, you're about to respond to the interesting conundrum that we have right now of crypto being an opportunity for the people to sort of force control back to the people, as opposed to what the governments or those with power right now are fearful of losing from the people, I guess.
Yeah, I've been studying kind of the implications of the Ecuador legislation, and I think people are waking up to realize that this is much more scary dangerous than they ever realized, because of how treaties work and how treaties have the force of law in America, and how we've been kind of willy-nilly with treaties with the International Monetary Fund and so forth. There's going to be some real interesting implications for the United States in the agreements that we have with the IMF and Ecuador. In fact, the IMF just released a statement earlier today saying they're very concerned about Ecuador's decision to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender because of all the ramifications it has to all their signatories as the weight of treaty, the force of law in those countries.
So Ecuador's trying to do it too? Or El Salvador?
I'm sorry, El Salvador.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
It's okay.
So the interesting thing is that America could be under force of law, under treaty, required to accept Bitcoin as legal tender because of the treaties that we have and the trade agreements that we have with countries like Ecuador. And similar movements have started in other countries like Panama, Nicaragua, other Latin American countries who have really suffered under the dollar regime. They didn't have any choice really after the Bretton Woods agreements from the middle of last century. And they're kind of waking up to this, that, hey, if we break out of this and adopt Bitcoin as our legal tender, then that means all the control that the dollar mechanics have had over us is gone. And we now kind of control our own destiny. So it's going to get really interesting. And I think those other countries need to hurry up so that we don't see another kind of invasion of Panama moment with El Salvador, you know.
Right.
They've got to be sweating it a little bit down there, wondering how America's going to respond.
Yeah, it's just like, I never thought as a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s that we'd be in a situation where who knows what the future holds. And I feel like right now, on so many levels, we're just like, oh my God, where are we going to be economically, socially? Like everything is just kind of a big conundrum of craze at the moment. So this is really interesting times.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it's great because, as we've talked about before, separation of money and state is exactly what the founding fathers had in mind, you know, to the maximum extent. They recognized that the government had a legitimate role in establishing the rules for how money would be used within a state, but they really wanted the government to be outside of the business of manipulating currencies, you know, pushing values, picking winners and losers in markets, influencing markets. And that's precisely the business that the government has gotten into with the Fed. And it's wrecking people's lives. It's wrecking economies around the world. And when you start getting this cryptocurrency involved, that's going to insulate these people and these economies from government's ability to do that as it gets bigger. We're still in the infancy. So there's still going to be, you know, Elon Musk abilities to have these moments. But as the market cap grows from 1 trillion to 20 trillion, the ability for, you know, single actors to make those kind of influences is really going to reduce to zero. So I think it's an exciting time. And there's a very interesting article that speaks to that. So this is from Bitwise Asset Management's CEO. Bitcoin is bad for crime. Bitwise Asset Management CEO Hunter Horsley said. And this is kind of an interesting look at cybersecurity risks. You know, that whole ransomware thing that went down with the meat packing company and so forth, and how the FBI worked together with some dark web agencies to get the money back and so forth. What we're learning is that the narrative that cryptocurrency is for bad guys and that bad guys really like cryptocurrency and so forth is a false narrative.
Yeah.
As this guy's pointing out, you know, crypto is transparent. Crypto is accountable. And unless you're talking about some of these coins that are designed like Monero, et cetera, that are designed to be privacy coins. But if you're looking to use ransomware with Bitcoin, just like these guys just found out, you're in a lot of trouble because it can be followed every step of the way. And when you take it to an exchange to take the money out, you're going to get caught. And that's what happened to these guys.
What's the beauty of the system, right? I mean, it's really going to expose where the bad things are. Government.
If they're trying to do some stuff like that halfway around the world, and they're trying to use a Bitcoin transaction process,
right.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you might as well just be. I mean, there's a lot of expressions I like to use right now, but we'll just say you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Well, and I really love, the Kathy, you like to call them the Winklevi,
yep.
the Winklevoss twins, who are really big advocates of cryptocurrency with their company called Gemini, which is both a wallet and an exchange. They just tweeted about something today where they proposed putting everyone's tax information, basically asset disclosure, on the blockchain, meaning it's immutable. When it goes out, it's like hyper transparency. And
what do you mean by that? What would be online on the blockchain?
Asset declaration. And what we're talking about is not so much for the little guys, but in particular for politicians. So, for example, politicians get elected to Congress, and their net worth when they enter Congress is like $250,000. And then 8 years later, when they leave Congress, their net worth is $55 million. And nobody knows where all that money came from, right? There's no requirement for them to do legitimate asset declaration. But if there was a law that said, okay, we're going to have a blockchain, and by that it means it's immutable. So every financial transaction that a politician does before, when they start to run for office, while they're in office, and after they get out of office, has to be logged on the blockchain.
So we could enforce keeping lobbyists in check and keeping campaign finance in check.
Yep. That's why these rich people don't invest in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because it represents hyper accountability, hyper transparency.
Interesting.
Basically, if you were going to take a bribe or a campaign contribution or get any kind of monetary benefit for the stuff you did as a representative, the people have a right to know what it is you got paid.
That's right.
And I think it's a beautiful idea. And it'd be really easy to do technologically, and just make it so that, hey, part of the burden of being a public, because, it grinds my gears when senators and congressmen talk about, I've been a public servant for 35 years. And it's
line in your pockets.
A public servant?
Right.
You've been getting driven around with a private driver.
The rules don't apply to you.
The rules don't apply to you. You have health care for life. You don't have to live anywhere close to where your constituents live.
Right.
You're not
your health care is handled for life. You're educated. Yeah.
Right.
You want me to go change your diaper now? You need a bottle? Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on. It's time for your nap. So come on. We got to go home now.
Right. Let's make it real service and make it so that every transaction that you do financially is public and everyone can see it. Now we're talking.
So you don't think there's ways? I mean, there's going to be ways for them to get around. There's going to be loopholes, right? There's going to be ways for them to get around it. What if they just don't take transactions via Bitcoin or via crypto? Or via the blockchain, I guess, right? What's going to be the ability to enforce that?
Yeah, the idea would be that they can it'd be against the law for them to bank, invest, or do transactions
they can't
outside of that blockchain type system. So the banking they do would be recorded. All the transactions would be recorded on the blockchain in real time as they happen. So they could only use a specific type of federal bank account that was recorded on the blockchain, for example, or their brokerage accounts for investments would have to be tied into that blockchain. So it'd be a new technology. You'd have to build it, but it'd be super easy to build. But basically, once you become a public servant, you're a public servant for life, and you don't get to have these backdoor deals that come in and make you super rich, because then your vote's for sale, right?
That's right.
And that's kind of what's happening right now.
Well, and that's what has been happening for decades now, right? I mean, it's just gotten so shameless. There's nobody holding anybody accountable in government right now.
Right.
It's ridiculous, and I don't feel represented. I'm sorry.
No, I don't either. I've seen people online that are showing these stocks that are a live view of the stocks, and you'll see oh, why did Nancy Pelosi invest in this when it was this percentage, and then it skyrockets, and you're like, what does she know that I don't know, or what is this,
Yeah.
or what does this guy know that I don't know? What's going on here?
Who's benefiting from
How
insider trading?
I want to, yeah. So if we had that proof, we would. I mean, there's some proof right there, but it's not enough. Still, there's still, I don't know.
It's shameless.
Yeah, it's super.
Yeah, I was reading about a piece of research that this guy did where he took all the public transaction, because congressmen and senators are supposed to, by law, make public all their transactions in stocks and bonds and stuff like that. So he took all that data and put it all together, and then took the S&P 500, which is, just one market, and took the average of the past 30 years to see how well elected representatives did in picking stocks and bonds versus how well the average professional investor, retail investor, people who know what's going on did.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Illuminating. What did they find out?
The politicians who have no time at all to spend investigating stocks and stuff like that did 50,000 times better than the S&P 500 average.
I told you. That's what I just said. Yeah, I told you.
You're just doing really, really lucky when you
really lucky my ass. They know something.
So who's really afraid of crypto?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. What they're afraid of is you and me, accountability and transparency. And that's the way it always works, right?
And where's the propaganda machine?
Right. That's it, exactly. And I think you're going to see this break more and more as more countries make the decision to go with cryptocurrencies or even with blockchain technologies in order to bring transparency and accountability to their systems. Nobody in the current regime wants that. Nobody likes that. And I'm sorry, too bad. Welcome to the rest of the world. Have you tried opening a checking account? Have you tried applying for a credit card? You want to talk about putting out all your information.
Have you tried using your own money how you want to use it? It's like amazing to me when you go in and try to put in a deposit or take a decent chunk of money out or move money, like the questions that the bank is asking. And it's like, I'm sorry, when I signed up for this checking account or this business account, I
didn't need you to know my whole life.
I thought I was under the impression that this was, my money that you guys were keeping safe. And
like, hey, you want to just search through my phone while you're at it and
see
everything else that's going on?
It's amazing to me, the overreach. And to some of it, it's like legal, like they have to ask those questions based on current laws, like it's just.
But the people who wrote those laws aren't subject to those rules.
Right. Of course. Yeah. That's the worst part of it. And that's what we've seen get worse and worse over the years, right?
It's gotten bad.
Those who are making the laws are definitely benefiting, and they don't have to live by the laws that they pass. And it's
frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah. And imagine a day when they finally have to live up to the same standards that everyone else does. I mean, I know that's crazy talk, but imagine a system where the elected representatives have to follow the same rules that they pass for everybody else. I mean,
how long do you think we'd last sitting in a room with all these people and we're trying to explain this to them? How long do you think we'd last before we were kicked out?
Oh, you wouldn't even get in the room. They'd know that you were headed that way to talk about it, and they'd shut it down before it even happened.
Yeah.
So here's another news report that is a little. I'm sorry. It's a little depressing.
And what website? What website is this? What source are you?
Okay, so this is coming from Coindesk.com.
Okay.
And we can share it in the show notes here. But the head dude of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, he's the commissioner of that federal agency. His name is Dan Berkovitz, and was giving a speech to the Asset Management Derivatives Forum. And he said, quote, DeFi markets. Remember how we were showing, how DeFi is so popular and how it works and everything?
Quote.
Right? DeFi markets, platforms, or websites are not registered as designated contract markets or swap execution facilities. The CEA, which is I'll have to look up that acronym. The CEA does not contain any exception from registration for digital currencies, blockchains, or smart contracts. Meaning, there's the federal government saying DeFi is illegal.
Do you think that's affecting the way the NFT process is going on right now with the sales and everything plummeting? I think I saw an article. Do you think that's affecting that?
It could. He's certainly throwing down the gauntlet. He said, quote, in a pure peer-to-peer DeFi system, none of the regulated financial protections exist. There is no intermediary to monitor markets for fraud and manipulation, prevent money laundering, safeguard deposited funds, ensure counterparty performance, or make customers whole when processes fail. And therefore, it's illegal. But then again, I'm sorry. As a free person, shouldn't I get to decide whether or not I want your stinking protections there, Mr. Fed tough guy?
Right.
I mean, all this stuff you talked about, those protections are there because of the inherent weakness of your markets. You need those protections because your markets are based on trust.
Right.
DeFi markets utilize code that create trustless markets. The smart contract is such that as long as you do your due diligence and you understand what you're doing in terms of, making sure that everyone who's using this has looked at it, validated, verified it, there's no malware in the code, if you will. If the code is righteous, then I don't need consumer protection.
Right.
I don't need a bailout on the other side because, frankly, the real criminals are the ones who get in, the market goes bad, and then look for the bailout on the other side, i.e. your banking buddies and your investor buddies who abuse the system, and then you bail out with my money.
That's right.
That's the real fraud that's going on. So don't preach to me about your markets and how they're so much better because they have all these protections. They've been ripping me off for years.
That's right.
It's amazing. Like I just feel like what's happening with crypto, like you said, it's exciting because it's shaking things up and it's illuminating. Like it is showing us where the cracks in the system are, and some of those cracks are mighty big. So
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But once again, you can see the feds are, drawing out the long knives. The regular people are out there making money.
Yep.
And we can't have that happen. They have to go through our regulated markets.
Power and control.
Yep.
CEA is the Commodity Exchange Act.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I should know it better because I sleep soundly under the blanket of protection it provides.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Berg agrees.
That's it.
Ferg's ready to bite Dan Berkowitz in the... Anyway.
He's all wound up.
It grinds my gears. That's kind of a big story. If the feds are going to say that DeFi is illegal, look out. They just made criminals of millions of Americans, and that's going to get ugly.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna start a bunch of shit.
2021, I'm telling you, it's the year your normal American becomes a criminal. Not by doing anything illegal.
Yeah. Just by sitting there.
Yep.
Oh, just trying to make a little interest on your, coin that you found underneath the sofa cushions.
Yep.
You're going to jail.
Going straight to jail.
Yeah. Well, once again, I think this is all indicative of how we need better leaders in politics. Not these cronies that have been sent to Washington to carry all the water for all the big corporate types out there, protecting their big banks and their buddies.
Yeah, it's all it's really campaign finance, right? I mean, because the fact that we've got senators that are elected to government, that's the problem, because they're controllable and they're all bought. So the only way to fix that is to, I don't know, constitutionally change the law back to the way that it was intended, which is your senators cannot, they cannot be elected. They'd be chosen by the state.
It's all about the money that's lost over 3,000% of its value since, 1913?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep, we're starting to see the cracks. So, but until they send the SWAT team over to take us down, we'll still be here learning this stuff. Happy to show everybody how it works. And because we believe in the freedom to choose, we believe it's your money. You should get to decide how you invest it. If you want protection under the CEA, you should be able to seek that protection. But if you think the system works just fine without that protection, then you should be able to choose that too. And you should be able to do that without having to move to El Salvador. Just saying.
That's right.
It'll be fun to see how it plays out.
Yep. But I've got a ticket to San Salvador just in case.
Did you get me one?
Yeah, man. We're all going.
I'm ready.
Party on the beach. Well, I think we're just about out of time. You guys have anything else you want to go over?
No, sir. I think we covered it. Just make sure if you hit the subscribe button, leave comments. Warrior Healing Center is at the bottom of the screen. Come see us if you need help with anything. We're here to help you, even with your crypto.
Yeah, he spends hours and hours every day learning the latest on the cryptocurrency world. So he's deep into it and kind of knows the goings on. So he's a good resource if there's any questions.
Yep, and Kyle is learning. I'm always sending Kyle, videos and stuff. Dude, check this out. And then he'll send me a video. Hey, have you seen this? And I'll be like, bro, no way. We got to talk about it. I mean,
it's an ongoing daily battle.
Yeah. Well, it's an exciting time to be alive. It's an exciting time to learn about this stuff because I can't imagine any time in American history where stuff has been changing so fast. The nearest thing is when the internet was coming out and you got things like Napster and LimeWire and stuff like that, where music was changing. But that's just a tiny little blip compared to how much things are changing here.
Yeah.
And it's important. You shouldn't let this moment pass you by without.
That's right.
Well,
I've been in a hell of a lot worse situations and way worse places than this. So why not take advantage of it, right? So
yeah, but I mean that's a good message though for everybody out there. Sure. Like start checking into. It's going to be here. I think crypto is ahead of us, and you can resist all you want, but the way Bitcoin is going. It jumped up from what was it at $3,000 a coin last year this time, and now it's down. It's been up, and now it's back down, but it's climbing. And so Satoshis are fractions of Bitcoin, and they are affordable. And
it's not too late.
It's the sooner you get in, the more it's going to be worth to you down the road. Now's the time to start buying if you haven't already. And just as an option, like, of course, there's no financial advice given here. This is just our opinions.
We're not sitting here twisting anybody's arms or holding them at gunpoint or anything like that.
But just know this is coming. I mean, it's like Tim said, like the internet came and has changed everything. Napster and those other applications across time, in the last 20 years or whatever, that have really shaken things up. And this definitely, I think the world in 5 years is going to look pretty darn different than it looks today. And that's scary and unsettling on the one hand, because I think as human beings, we all appreciate stability. But man, things we're on the brink of change. We're in the middle of change. So open your eyes up, understand it, try to understand it, learn as much as you can, and play the game, right? The game of life.
It's fun. It's fun.
So.
Yeah, and don't let those big scary feds frighten you, because that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to make you go back to your piggy bank and hide it in your mattress. And that's not the right answer. They're like the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. They're wee bitty tiny, but they control levers that are big and thunderous. And no, you have the power. The people have the power. And that's what's behind this this cryptocurrency revolution. I just read an article today that's just fascinating. It's called Proving Why Bitcoin is Not a Ponzi Scheme. And it does this very nice scientific one-to-one correlation between what Ponzi schemes are and what Bitcoin is. And when you do, the objective analysis, anyone who says it's a Ponzi scheme, you can prove them wrong, just blow them out of the water. But it's also important to realize what it is. No one, when it was established, no one imagined what it's become. But what they designed it to do worked, and that, because it's righteous, exploded and spread all across the globe. And it's recognizing what that righteousness is and what it represents to people, and why that's the inherent value that the dollar doesn't offer or any other fiat currency doesn't offer. So we can share that in the show notes too. It's really, really interesting. And ultimately, even if you don't get into crypto, if you don't study Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of that stuff, learn about what money is and why it's important to our society and why we have the civilization we do, and how the role of money and how it's secured and how it's earned and how it's not extorted or corrupted has an impact on what type of society you'll live in. Because even if you don't get into the crypto, if you understand those things, it will help you make great decisions for your own life in the future. And I think that's the promise of crypto, is that it gets people thinking about these bigger issues that cryptocurrency involves.
I agree.
Yep.
Well, that's about all the time we have. Tim, thanks for joining us from the Crypto Vault. We appreciate
the Bat
it.
Cave.
Elon Musk. Yeah, exactly. I just had to get that in one more time. Thanks. We will see you guys next week. Kathy, thanks for joining us.
Everyone go to your Twitter right now and block Elon Musk. Join the movement.
That's it.
All right. Thanks, guys.